What's good, Commanders fans? This will be a quick video, and this definitely should be a quick video. I am wearing my Wizards t-shirt and my DC shirt. I do have a John Wall shirt. I just don't have a John Wall jersey. Actually, you know what? Hold on. Let me get up the screen real quick. I'm gonna come right back, real quick. I'm not gonna edit or nothing. I'm gonna show this John Wall. I have to pay homage to Jimmy John Wall, man. I should make a separate video for John Wall. I really should. That's the respect that he deserves. This guy put the city on his back for a couple of years in DC, man. We never got past the second round with John Wall. I would hit the Dougie and all that, but I'm not gonna do all that. You know, I'm washed up. But John, man, he put on for the city, man. He really did. He did a lot for the community, for the kids. The Game 6 winner, the behind the back dunk on Schroeder, the glass of Schroeder where he blocked his shot in the playoffs. I'm trying to think of some other big moments for John Wall, man. There's just so many. The one I think he dunked on T.J. McConnell. He had the alley-oop on Baron Davis in Madison Square Garden. There's so many moments. He had the best. He had the best hoop mixtape I've ever seen in my life. And I used to watch hoop mixtape growing up as a teenager in high school. He had the best one out of everybody. There's so many good hoop. DeMar DeRozan, Akil Carr. There's so many hoop mixtapes that are just. And Brandon Jennings back in the day. John Wall of Kentucky. John Wall, he changed the city. Like the last time the city has been electric for basketball was when John Wall was here. It has not been the same since. It just has not. And it's hard to match that. It really is. And the sad thing is that we never got past the second round. But Death Row DC, John was a dog, man. He was a dog. And he was the first pick of the draft. And like I said, I probably have to make a separate video for John. I really should. I don't care if it gets 200 views. And I'm going to make a separate video for John Wall. I'm going to have to. But I will transition to George Fant. Let's quickly talk about George Fant. So they signed George Fant. I did make a video about George Fant last week. And Cam Fleming, they brought him in, both those guys in for workouts. But I hate the way it ended for John, too. Just him getting traded. But John, man, I got to look up John's best moments, man. And I'm sorry, you guys who only want to hear Commanders talks. But John, man, I could go on and on and on. I mean, spoon feeding Gortat, getting Otto Porter paid. I think one of his rookie games, he had like a triple double off the rip. Off the rip, he had a triple double in one of his rookie games, man. Like he was incredible. He was the best shot blocking point guard in the NBA too, like for a long time. Yeah, he had 52 against Orlando in 2016, 47 against Memphis in 2013. We beat the Bulls and got past the first round when they had Kirk Heinrich, Derrick Rose was hurt. And we beat the Hawks in the playoffs, sweeping the Raptors with Paul Pierce. But no, let me get to football. Okay. All right, George Fant, man. It's John Wall, man. He did a lot of things for the city. It's hard not to get emotional watching that guy, man. I love John Wall. Rose Bar happened. It was unfortunate, though. It was unfortunate. And he allegedly slipped on in a shower and tore his Achilles again and aggravated it. But all right, George Fant. So let's go over his PFF numbers. He's going to be our backup to the backup offensive tackle here. He might make the roster. It's a possibility because he's played in the league for many years, and he started in the league for many years. He only played in 2 games last year, but he did play in 16 games for the Houston Texans, so he does, I think, have a little familiarity with Laramie Tunsil there, and started in 13 games. Now, he's very versatile. He's a swing tackle. He can play right tackle and left tackle. So those are some positives there with bringing him in. He did play basketball at Western Kentucky, so he still has some of that athleticism. How old is he now, though? He is 33 years old, 6'5", 316 pounds. Let's look at some of the PFF numbers here. So he had a 61.3 offensive grade last year overall. He had 68.2 run blocking grade, so he'll fit in well because, you know, we got Bill now and C-Rod are taking the lead as our lead running backs, and we saw what happened last night. John Bates was the dog last night too. And John Bates did a heck of a job blocking. It was like a 6th offensive lineman. That he's like a 6th offensive lineman out there. He's a stud. I'm gonna say studs and duds real quick, just rapid fire through that. But George Fant, I think it's a solid pickup. He had 2 sacks allowed last year, which is not great in limited time. So he was ranked 60th, and he was ranked 22nd in pressures allowed. He allowed 3 pressures in limited time as well. But he played right tackle primarily last year, 30 snaps at right tackle. Overall in his career, he's played more right tackle than left tackle. He has 207 snaps at left tackle in 2022, 840 snaps in 2021 at left tackle. Overall in his career, he has 2,342 snaps at left tackle and 2,180 snaps at right tackle. Excuse me. With Houston, he had a 71.1 overall PFF grade in 2021. He had a 73.8 overall PFF grade in 2018. Those are some of his better years. One year he had a 48.4 offensive grade, which is really awful. But like I said, last year he had a 61.8 offensive grade overall. So he has a total of 4,984 snaps in the NFL. So that is the write-up on George Fant. Let me see what his 40-yard dash is as well. 4.8 40-yard dash, which is pretty good for he's an athlete. 37-inch vertical leap as well. 20-yard shuttle was 4.54 seconds. So he's an athlete, man. He still is. He still is an athlete. Like I said, he was really good in basketball at Western Kentucky. That's why I'm intrigued by a lot. Like I know that was years ago, but he was a really good athlete. Like he made like all second team Sun Belt a couple times in basketball, like all third team in Western Kentucky. Like when you play basketball and transition to football, like typically you're a really, really, really good athlete. Typically you are. So that's the write up on George Fant. Like Laramie Tunzel, I think he will be available week 1. Of course, Brandon Coleman, we're not too sure, and then Lucas Niang towards ACL, so they need to bring a body in. But I do think that George Fant will make the roster. I got a feeling he's gonna make the roster for sure. All right, so studs and duds, rapid fire. I guess we'll get the duds out the way. Sam Hartman was a dud. Do I really need to go into detail about that? Like I said, I don't think we need to keep more than 2 quarterbacks. I know people are going to probably comment and be like, oh, the emergency quarterback thing. I understand if you say that. But, you can't just throw anybody and be like, oh, they're an emergency quarterback. I think there should be a decent, and to ask your third string quarterback to be a good player is definitely a tall task. It's not expected. But I think you can have a better third string quarterback than what we have right now in Josh Johnson and Sam Hartman. I think Jordan Ta'amu is better than both those guys. I'm not even being funny because I'm a DC Defenders guy, but I really think Jordan Ta'amu was better than both those guys. I really think he would be more impactful with his being a dual threat quarterback, especially in Cliff's offense. Like Jordan Ta'amu would ball out in the preseason in Cliff's offense. He really would. Duds were both quarterbacks. Carlin Vidgers, Bobby Price. Don't really need to go into detail. You can just ask Mitchell Tinsley about those 2 guys. And you get a good understanding about that. Those were some tough catches, though, so I'm not going to bash him about that. But Bobby Price was getting cooked, and then Carlin Vidgers just once again giving up a big play. So, he just has a reputation of it through 2 games now, just struggling with physicality as well. The 2 quarterbacks. Let's see here. Who else? Those are really the only duds for the most part. I think special teams, kicking coverage, Matt Gay kind of like not kicking the ball down the field, but he made his 1 kick. And that was really it. Frankie's got to do better. Like, Frankie's Frankie, so we're not going to give him a hard time about that. He jumped off sides, but he's got to be better. Some people were saying Noah I thought Noah I played well. I thought the penalty was a little questionable, but he did hold Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase is going to get that call every day of the week from any NFL ref for sure because of his reputation and how good he is. But studs, we had a lot of studs. The running back room, C-Rod, JCM. Both those guys played well. I'll just give a studs of the whole offensive line, the first team offensive line. I thought they all played well. Giving Bill the running lane, giving C-Rod the running lane. Like, you could drive a Mack truck through that running lane. They did a great job. John Bates was in the mix. Andrew Wiley played well. Percy Butler had a really high PFF grade. He had, like, the best PFF grade out of everybody. Alec Cahoe was running around, the linebacker from UCLA. I thought he played pretty well. Percy Butler had an 83.7. Jalen Lane was a stud. He had 2 really good catches. He had an and 1 catch where they had a penalty, where they called a penalty on the corner who was guarding him. Jacob Martin with a 77.8. Jacob Martin did a good job. He was running around. He was flying. Dorrance Armstrong, Javon Kinlaw, they were getting pressure on Joe Burrow all day. Joe Burrow was running around like a chicken with his head cut off, seeing ghosts at times. Even though Joe Burrow had a great day, he was running around like a chicken with his head cut off. He really did, twice. But Dietrich Wise had the horse collar. Ricky Barber, the defensive tackle, with a 73.7. Robert McDaniel with a 79.3, the undrafted free agent out of Jackson State. I thought he had a nice pass deflection. And then Quan Martin had a really nice tackle too. So I mean, I know we lost, but a lot of guys played well and played better. Big Play Tay had a nice catch for 15 yards. That's about it from the receiving core. I'm not going to call Luke a dud because if you look at some of the tape, he actually did get up and down the field. Quarterbacks just didn't see him. Once again, that's just the story of his life. It really is. Like, nobody sees him open for whatever reason. Debo was a stud with a 19-yard run. Jaden was a stud with the running touchdown. And Cliff was a stud with the play calling for that opening drive. And I thought Joe Witt Jr. did solid at moments in that with the first team defense because we really should have got off the field, but Frankie went offsides. Colson Yankoff did a good job on special teams for the most part. Let's see here. I already said Ken Law, where he was just pass rushing really well in that play where they had Joe Burrow running like a chicken with his head cut off. But that's about it, guys. You guys let me know what you guys think. As always, Jalen Lane, man, he looks really good. I think we found one with Jalen Lane. I think he's going to be a really good third or fourth option on this team. I really do. He looked really. He was running routes and catching through contact. Like, he played really well. He showed some physicality out there too, which I really like. So, did I say Bobby Price? Yeah, I did say Bobby Price was a dud, and Carmen Vizers was a dud as well. And John Bates, of course, was a stud for sure. All right, you guys. As always, have a great day. Home Commanders. Peace. John Wall's a dog.